rotting wood. There are, window panes partially out, peeling paint. It doesn't send the message of hope that we want to send to people who are vulnerable.
So this is where people come in and check in?
So if you were a new customer, there would be a couple people sitting here who would check you in. If you're an existing customer, you would just sign in. But for a first-time customer, our customer service person, Candace, a shopping assistant will come by and then walk through with our customers. The amount of food they get is dependent on family size. So they get a card telling them how much they're allowed to take in each of these color categories. One of the problems that we have is we have really high energy costs because of the condition of the building. So these refrigerators and freezers are all hand-me-down. They're mostly older, they're not particularly energy or space efficient. If you look inside and you measure the cubic feet inside, if we had a bank of refrigerators here, we could fit, I don't even know, 3, 5, 10, who knows how much more, but significantly more, and our energy savings would be substantial. This is where we do intakes. So right now you can see the table is covered with bags, that we prepare so that when shoppers come, we're ready. But our customer service person, Candy Roseman, will sit down with families, and this is where she does, talks to them about their needs. Now, if they have stuff that's delicate or confidential, I don't know, most people don't like to talk about their money in a kind of a vulnerable setting. It's private from where the shoppers are, but you can still see that it's still part of the circulation space. It's not a separate space. And so we don't think that this, really permits dignity. It doesn't say respect, and it doesn't enable our customers to really open up and talk about what's going on. So we can't be of maximum service to them. So having a reception area in our new facility, I think, is really important.
Gotcha.
We're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
That's one of the key things that I think we're missing, is being able to really connect with our customers and not just on food, but take care of all of their needs.
And what do you need? What sort of resources do you need to be able to do that?
The first one is space. It's just we can increase our amounts of food if we have more storage space, and if we have more grocery store floor space. People will be able to take more food. Having offices. We don't have any offices here, so that we can really sit down with customers. But we also...
All right, so I'm arriving at the food pantry. Just walk me through what I would do if I was going to get food.
So as customers come, that's a staff entrance over here. They'll go around.
You can just talk to me.
Just talk to you? Okay.
Yeah.
And then, but they go around to the handicap entrance, the accessible entrance. But as you can see, if you have any kind of disability, if you're in a wheelchair or a walker, this isn't exactly optimal for you to be coming. And then as we come around, we have even more of a mess here. You can see the rotting wood. There are, window panes partially out, peeling paint. It doesn't send the message of hope that we want to send to people who are vulnerable.
So this is where people come in and check in?
So if you were a new customer, there would be a couple people sitting here who would check you in. If you're an existing customer, you would just sign in. But for a first-time customer, our customer service person, Candace Roseman, would take you and do a little bit of an intake and orientation to the pantry, and then find out what other needs you have aside from food. Deficits of food don't ever exist in a vacuum. If a person is struggling to buy groceries, they're probably struggling to pay for rent, pay for gas, pay for electric bill, and a variety of other things. So we try to connect with them and then connect them to other resources. We're sort of a first stop. The way a lot of programs that address poverty and basic needs works is that the federal government sets a poverty line. So let's say for one person, it depends on family size. One person, let's say $10,000 a year, for example. So to qualify for a lot of programs, you have to be at 125% of the poverty line. So that's $12,500 for one person. And ours goes up to 200%. So that's $20,000 a year, depending on what the poverty line is. It changes every year. So I don't know it off the top of my head. Ours is 200% of poverty. So in terms of poverty programs, that's a high number. Other agencies in town, their poverty level is 125%. That means that we have a lot more potential customers, right? Because it includes everybody at 125% plus a whole lot more. And we have really low barriers to entry. Pretty much our customers just say, yeah, this is my income. We don't necessarily require them to produce pay stubs or birth certificates or social security cards or any of those kind of identifying things. Those actually turn out to be really difficult for people living in poverty or low income people. They have to get gas money, go to Hamilton, take the day off work, fill out all these complicated forms, pay $25 to get a birth certificate. So if you have a fire or mold or you've moved a bunch of times, which is very common, having those documents can be really tough. And most programs are going to require some, variation of those documents. So we don't. You just have to say, hey, I'm being honest. And we say, we trust you, we're going to help you. In a perfect world, we wouldn't have to ask about income at all. We could just let people in need come and take food. But we also get food from some federal programs that require some record keeping and have their built-in limits. So once you're going through, then people sit and wait. It's first come, first serve. A shopping assistant will come by and then walk through with our customers. The amount of food they get is dependent on family size. So they get a card telling them how much they're allowed to take in each of these color categories. The color categories you can see are on the shelves and also up here. So in this case, a family of 5 to 6, we're walking through. They get 3 orange choices. Sometimes there are limits, so you can only take 1 cereal. This is the purple choice, if that's meat. They can take 3 purple choices for a family of 4 to 5. So that's, as you can see, this is about the size of it, and this is catfish fillets, which aren't going to be everybody's cup of tea. So a family of 5, this is kind of, I think they can get 3 of these, but that's not too much. One of the problems that we have is we have really high energy costs because of the condition of the building. So these refrigerators and freezers are all hand-me-down. They're mostly older. They're not particularly energy or space efficient. If you look inside and you measure the cubic feet inside, if we had a bank of refrigerators here, we could fit, I don't even know, 3, 5, 10, who knows how much more, but significantly more, and our energy savings would be substantial from this old hodgepodge of equipment that we pulled together.
This thing's from the 70s or something.
Yeah, and they're all different. We just kind of have taken what's come to us, and people have been unbelievably generous. The question is this is this the best way of storing food? Is this really meeting the codes that we want it to meet, and the energy efficiency that we want? And the answer is no. So, we want to up our game.
Yeah.
So if you walk through here, this is where we do intakes. So right now you can see the table is covered with bags, that we prepare so that when shoppers come, we're ready. But our customer service person, Candy Roseman, will sit down with families, and this is where she does, talks to them about their needs. Now, if they have stuff that's delicate or confidential, I don't know, most people don't like to talk about their money in a kind of a vulnerable setting. It's private from where the shoppers are, but you can still see that it's still part of the circulation space. It's not a separate space. And so we don't think that this, really permits dignity. It doesn't say respect, and it doesn't enable our customers to really open up and talk about what's going on. So we can't be of maximum service to them. So having a reception area in our new facility, I think, is really important.
Gotcha.
We're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
That's one of the key things that I think we're missing,
Okay.
is being able to really connect with our customers and not just on food, but take care of all of their needs.
And what do you need? What sort of resources do you need to be able to do that?
The first one is space. It's just we can increase our amounts of food if we have more storage space, and if we have more grocery store floor space. People will be able to take more food. Having offices. We don't have any offices here, so that we can really sit down with customers. But we also plan to have flex office spaces, so we will be able to partner with other organizations. They can come in, so Habitat for Humanity can, for example, we don't know what the final mix is going to be, but Bacola Hyde can do programming. We have a partnership with Talawanda School District. The school board voted this week unanimously to form a partnership with us. We have partnerships with the Miami University Nutrition Department and with the Farmers Market, all to do programming, and I think that that's only going to grow. We'll be able to help people sign up for benefits. People who are in that income range where they don't qualify for other programming in town, but they still need help, we'll be able to fill those service gaps with space. We'll also get, if we can look at the waiting area, over here, you can see how inadequate this waiting area is. First of all, if we have people who are struggling with mobility issues, people who are struggling with obesity and diabetes, which is very common in lower income people because they eat a lot of refined carbohydrates because they're very cheap. So this is not really, people don't fit in these little chairs. These are chairs for school-age kids for the most part. But we will have a very large multi-purpose room. So it'll serve as our weight room. There will be some tables there, but it can also serve with the Oxford Police Department can come in and do their Hope Over Heroin programming or their safety and community policing programming. Call Hyde can come in and do nutrition programming. Just the opportunities are pretty endless for having a multi-purpose room. So that's going to be a good, the new weight area will be about the size of this whole space. So it's going to be large, but we can have soup kitchens there, we can have community dinners, we can feed kids, there are all kinds of possibilities.
You can expand your hours too, right? You can be open as long as you need to be open. Right?
We can begin to expand our hours and figure out how to make that work. So that's one of the issues with homeless families is we do have about 70 homeless families in Oxford. And that number is growing for a whole series of reasons. But homeless families struggle to come here in the limited hours that we have, but they also struggle with the particular kinds of offerings we have. You're homeless, you have 4 people living in a car. Where do you store your cornflakes and milk? Where do you cook a can of soup, or where do you cook up pasta? So they have a lot more need for prepared foods that this facility doesn't permit us to offer. But the future facility will have a certified level 1 commercial kitchen where we can either do food preparation, we can do nutrition classes, but we can also start to meet that need as much as possible.
That's huge.
Yeah, it'll be terrific. So I'll show you our storage area and you can kind of see why we have an adequate space.
Wow.
So this is our storage area. Most of our donations come in through this back door. You'll see so our new facility is going to have a loading dock because this is just not working. You've got these narrow doorways, and the way we track our progress is we weigh the food that is donated. We know that in 2017 we distributed 140,000 pounds of food, and we also know that we're not reaching everybody we could reach, and the people we are reaching, we're probably not giving them enough food. So we'll be able to have a floor scale, so new donations come in. It'll make it very easy on our staff. They're not going to have to be lifting boxes onto the scale. This is what we use now. So Kroger or Walmart, or a fraternity or sorority has a canned drive. The postal workers have a canned food drive. Kiwanis, they bring in all the canned goods and we put them on this and weigh them and log that in. So we'll be able to do that on the floor scale.
It just makes the process that much more efficient.
That much more efficient. Yeah. So we can spend our time doing other things like connecting with people.
More meaningful. Yeah.
More meaningful stuff. But you can see, so then we store all of this. It's important we keep our eye on the expiration dates. We have some storage for larger, if we get bulk sizes, those go to the larger families. So we have a section reserved. But you can see that this is really fragmented, and our storage area goes into another room. So over here, if we had a big open space where we could put good rows, we could significantly increase our storage capacity and then increase our offerings. But this is just, as you can see, I mean, it's very difficult to keep this orderly in the way that we would really like to. I mean, it's, some disorder. The biggest time of the year that this becomes a problem is the holidays. So our biggest times of the year, I mean, Thanksgiving and Christmas are when, people's hearts are really open, and that's when we get a lot of canned goods, and also we have a lot more customers who seek us out at that time of the year. So let's say we get 90 turkeys, fantastic, from Kroger or Walmart or whoever. That is way past our current capacity. So we have to find a way to plan for our peak food intake period without, we have to plan for our biggest, but still make it a reasonable size space. I mean, so that's kind of what we've been talking about for a while. Is in the holidays, this is packed.
guys have, so if you get a bunch of turkeys, are you able to freeze all of them and keep them from not perishing? Is that something you guys are able to do, or?
We are able to do it, and we found workarounds, but they're not necessarily the optimal workarounds. Excuse me. Thanks.
I'm sick too, so.
They're not necessarily the optimal workarounds. So I think we could really, if we had a more efficient system and just a more efficient layout, we could do a lot more and do it better. So,
Is it ever a problem when you get so much that you have to waste it because you don't have the resources to move it in? Or?
I think that our food waste is generally pretty low. We do have some problems with produce because we tend to get produce that is at its expiration date. And so that has been an ongoing issue because we're hoping to have a compost at the new facility so we can begin composting some of that. But since most of this is shelf stable, and in fact, it doesn't tend to be as much of a problem.
That's good.
But we do, if you look at the condition of this place is actually clean and cleaned. And that's not necessarily something you would know from
I see.
looking at it. I mean, we have volunteers who come in religiously. They're terrific, but